Hi guys, it's Dark Talon here. I've had a few questions online, mainly on Facebook. I've had a couple of emails as well, about the Alyan conversion for gas blowback rifles that turns them into HPA guns. And anyone who's familiar with the system has probably realised that the system isn't exactly ideal. It doesn't work 100% as soon as you get it, at least in my experience, and at least 4 or 5 other people that I know of. Like I say, I've had a few emails and questions asking me how I got mine to work. Gonna just go through a couple of the little things that I did to basically make mine work. At least for the time being, it's working anyway. It's worked for a couple of weeks now. No, more like a couple of months now. I've used it 2 or 3 times in game, and it's working okay. But what used to happen, it's easier if I explain what used to happen, and then obviously if that's happening to you, you'll know that this should help you with your problem. So basically what used to happen is, obviously when you pull the trigger, it pushes this forward, which I don't know whether you can see in here. It pushes that forward, releases air out, and fires the PB. What was happening is after a good stint of full auto fire, the O-ring that's inside this part here would come loose and eventually get stuck. As this is going forward and backwards so fast, it would get stuck in the groove essentially, and would just vent air. So yeah, what I did with that was basically I'll get another one here because I've got a few spares, because a friend of mine basically sold his because he couldn't get it to work. He sold it as parts because he just gave up. So basically this bit is what's in here. Okay, that's what you can see in that hole. So normally it comes with quite a rubbishy spring, so something like this. So that'll be there. Okay, then you'll have this over the top. And then you'll have one of these, obviously with an O-ring, but this one hasn't got one on at the moment, on there. So what I did was, because the O-ring kept coming loose, where the O-ring actually is, I'll show you now, hopefully you'll be able to pick that up. I actually arrowdited that in, or used some really, really strong super glue, and it stayed in thus far. But when I used the really strong super glue, it still seemed to keep happening. So I changed the spring, because I didn't think that it was returning fast enough. It didn't have enough power to return it. So what I did is I went to the shop, I bought myself this pack. You've probably all seen them. You know, they're cheap as chips, £3, something like that. And you go inside and you get yourself this one here. Okay, that one there I trim about a third off, so sort of there, and then use this section. Okay, now this spring is a lot stronger than, for instance, this one that came with an Alyan system. It's it's quite pathetic really. So yeah, I changed the spring, makes it a lot stronger. I also noticed that this part, the bit that goes in here, would eventually, after a lot of shooting, would come loose, because obviously it's only screwed on to this here. Sorry, try and get that in the actual frame. So yeah, it's only screwed onto there. So after a while it would, it would take a lot of flack and would eventually come loose. So what I did, really simple, you've probably all thought about it yourselves anyway, but boom, some thread lock, some red thread lock. Once you get it in place, obviously what you do, you put it on your thread and then you screw them together. But what I did is I kept testing it until it was perfect as I'd put the thread lock on. Once it was perfect and it was firing just fine, I left it to dry overnight. So now it's absolutely perfect. So you sort your spring out, you get your better spring out of this packet, Rolson 150 piece spring assortment. Like I said, it's the one in the corner here. Obviously this is not meant to be like that, but yeah. top right corner. It's the 5.6 by 38.1mm. Comes with 8 pieces in there, so you've got a lot of spares, you know. And it's cheap as chips. I mean, I'm sending a couple out to a couple of good friends to help them out with their builds, but you know, it's only £3, so you'll be able to get yourself sorted. But that's pretty much all I can say about it really at the moment. That's what I did. That's the modifications I've done thus far. Yeah, so hopefully this video's helped you out. Hopefully you'll be able to take my advice on and get your systems working again. Like I said at the beginning of the video, the Alyan system is not ideal, really. It's a fantastic idea, but it's just not. He's not perfected the idea yet. Once he's perfected the idea and maybe made some changes to this system, because this is the entirety of all of my problems that I had. If anyone else is having any other problems that I haven't mentioned, please give me a shout. I will try my hardest to help you out, if I can. Like I said, I have got the one working. I've just sold it because I don't use it. I've got more than enough guns. I've got a couple of Polar Stars SMPs. I've got some Hydras on the way, so I really don't need that many guns. So hopefully you'll have a lot of fun with that, seeing as it's working just fine. But yeah, if you've got any other problems, any questions, give me a shout. It helps me out that you like and subscribe to my channel, like the video, maybe share it if you're happy with it and you think it could help some other people out. It's all great. Anyway, I will see you in the next video. Cheers guys.